Good evening, viewers. This is the continuing episode on my talks on the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. In my last episode, I had concluded with the shloka Ye sarvat anabhisnehi tatat prapya shubham ashubham na abhinandati na dveshti tas pragya pratishtata. And what it means is that in this entire gamut of desires and happenings, both good and bad, the person who's in a state of equanimity with the supreme intelligence, that is, stays silent. That person does not eulogize or show disapproval to what the present moment happens to represent. And the present moment today is that of disunification of the world. At an individual level, we are masked and we are socially isolated from one another, and projecting this to a world stage, the nations have a mindset which is incongruous to the spirit of the Olympic Games, which incidentally, contrarily, been turned off because of the pandemic. If we were having a normal turn of events, as in the yesteryears, to which we were accustomed to, there would have been at the moment a bonhomie, jubilation, and mutual admiration between different peoples around the world, the Olympics being the reason for this. This material world is guided by events and situations that are highlighted so much so by the media, by individuals, because that is the way of the world, that this world appears to be very real, and it is actually all a play of the mind. If you see that painting over there, it is all a play of the mind. There has been a blank canvas on which somebody has put down the colors, and there are mountains, there are meadows, and there are people, and there are children, and there are rocks, and there's a sky. Actually, it is a grand illusion. This material world is similarly a grand illusion in a case. Just a feign of the hand and the picture changes. Same canvas, similar paints, but the picture has changed. Why I am saying this is to illustrate a point of view. This world is imagined in our minds through our senses, and there is a pendulum of sorts that swings and gives contrasting aspects to any entity: big, small, poor, rich, bright, dark, and so on and so forth. The duality of existence. There is an attraction, a desire, and there is an aversion and a repugnance. We don't want certain things, and we would give a right arm to have something. Now this is the rag and dvesh, and the 64th shloka of the second chapter in Bhagavad Gita is rag dvesh mamaktastu vishyan indriyascharan atma vishayat vidar atma prasadam adhigachyate. When we free ourselves through our minds of this duality, then we get the benefit from that supreme intelligence. And that is not very easily obtained. We have to work for it. We work on the principle of the yoga. We have to have a physical, a mental, a spiritual discipline in order to cut out this conflict of duality, as a result of which we are able to find the benefit. And the 65th shloka is Prasadam sarva bhutanam haniras upajayate. I beg your pardon. Prasadam sarva dukkhanam haniras upajayate. The entire plethora of suffering, it's simply blown away. That is the benefit. Prasanda chetso iyashu buddhir parvatishtate. All of a sudden, we are having access to happiness and peace. And rather than use our minds, which always are being used incessantly, into a mass psychosis, into a world hysteria, which does not mean anything really, just a lot of noise and smoke. There is very little meaning to this thinking and mass hysteria, both at an individual level and at a world level. Whereas we can suck our minds, we can rest it, we can allow our mind to simply be placed back by not using it for thinking. We can use our intelligence to be able to think with discipline. But I don't conclude over here. I would add to this the final shloka of the second chapter. I think it's the 72nd shloka. And Tesham Brahmi Sthiti Parth Nayanam Prap Vimuyati Sthit Vasyamanta Kale Api Brahman Nirvanam Rachati. When we are able to become one with that supreme intelligence, we are no more bewildered by what takes place around us. We are able to take, accept, and believe. When we don't feel surprised by the complexities of happenings that suddenly occur, then we are able to maintain our sang fluid, maintain our peace, and able to think intelligently. And this can happen while we are living and at the time when we'll be taking our last breath. Tesham Brahmi Sthiti Parth Nayanam Prap Vimoyati Stitvasyam Antakale. And we exist even at the point of making our last expiration. Brahman Nirvanam Rachati. And we are able to thus attain Nirvana. Nirvana is to be able to free ourselves of suffering, to free ourselves of becoming victim to unnecessary thought, to free ourselves from the entanglement of this material complexity that is there to sometimes give us pleasure, but most times give us pain. Thank you. Good night.